and Sybil from the 8th dimension! Hey guys, hello gorgeous. Got another 80s movie review for you. I got the collar popped because today I'm going to be talking about The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the 8th Dimension. I'm a big Peter Weller fan, so I'd been meaning to watch this again for quite some time. Never got around to it. I remember seeing it as a teenager and being completely baffled by it at the time. Didn't really get it. It is a giant cult classic though, and the reason I decided to check it out now is because I watched Ready Player One, which is just jam-packed with all sorts of Easter eggs, 70s, 80s, 90s, beyond. And in one of the scenes, the main character, Parzival, chooses to dress in the style of Buckaroo Banzai. And I went, oh yeah, Buckaroo Banzai, I gotta check that out again. So I did check it out again, and it is extremely weird, extremely zany. While I was in the experience of watching the movie, I felt like I was watching a bad movie. And it felt a lot like Big Trouble in Little China to me. Big Trouble in Little China is a movie that I remember much more fondly than the actual experience would tell. When I watch Big Trouble in Little China, it's actually not as good as I remember it or think it is. But it's afterwards, the quotable lines, the zaniness that you can appreciate from a distance, not from up close. And that's exactly how I feel about Buckaroo Banzai. Watching again just recently. It's so weird, it's so crazy. I've still got the theme from the end credits stuck in my brain. It's so simple but hilarious. Tongue-in-cheek comedy stuff, very stupid lowbrow stuff, slapstick. It's got a bunch of everything for everybody, but Peter Weller delivers everything with such seriousness, such conviction. It just adds to the quirkiness of the whole movie because it is nuts. It's insane, and you got this guy who is unfazed by everything. In terms of the character itself, there's been a lot of talk in recent years about Rey's character from the new Star Wars movies being a Mary Sue is the term for someone who is just naturally gifted at everything and seems perfect and never has any character growth. Well, she pales in comparison to Buckaroo Banzai. Right from the opening text in this movie, we're told that Buckaroo is a brilliant neurosurgeon and a jet car test pilot and a rock star and all sorts of other things. He's half Japanese, which Peter Weller looks nothing. Doesn't look Japanese at all, but they dyed his hair black, which I guess was their hilarious attempt. It's just all so crazy, and usually I say, look, go with it. There are certain movies, if you just go with it, especially movies based on old comic books or old cartoons, if you just go with it, then you'll enjoy the ride. It did feel a lot like Big Trouble in Little China to me. That's because the guy who wrote this movie co-wrote Big Trouble in Little China. So if you know nothing about Buckaroo Banzai Across the 8th Dimension, the movie that I would most relate it to is Big Trouble in Little China. The only thing is, it's not quite, I didn't think it was quite as entertaining as Big Trouble, just because Kurt Russell works so much better in a comedic role, like a lovable bonehead role. Whereas in this movie, Peter Weller is perfect. He's that Gary Stu, and it's so absurd. I did laugh at it for a while, and then I just started rolling my eyes because it's so ridiculous that he starts the movie off doing neurosurgery, brain surgery, and then goes directly from that to testing this jet car and doing this incredible breakthrough experiment, and then goes right from that to his concert. And he's got this group. It's not just a Buckaroo. He's got this entire group of people just like him who do these amazing things, and they're part of his rock band. And they're also action heroes. They grab guns and they go and fight evil from the 8th dimension. It's just insane. I think this would work a heck of a lot better as an 80s cartoon. And it just goes to show you that sometimes the magic gets lost when things go from cell animation to flesh and blood. Even if the story doesn't really hold your attention for the whole time, this is one of those movies that has everybody in it. So you'll have fun going, oh, this person, oh, that guy. So I did mention that Peter Weller is in it, and if you're a big Peter Weller fan, you'll enjoy his part of it. The issue with having so many people in it, ensemble cast, is that no one really gets a giant part. Even Buckaroo Banzai just feels like he pops up from time to time to make room for all the other people. John Lithgow is in it, so if you love John Lithgow, you know exactly what you're going to get there. He is the completely insane cartoon character come to life, evil villain. Ellen Barkin is in it. Jeff Goldblum is in it, and I thought my brain was going to blow up watching Peter Weller and Jeff Goldblum talking nonsense to each other in the same scene. It's just amazing. Christopher Lloyd, great Scott! The Doc Brown is in this as well. Clancy Brown, the Kurgan from The Highlander, is in there as well, and Jonathan Banks, Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad, also makes a quick appearance in there. So that's a lot of fun seeing all these people before they became big Hollywood stars or TV stars appearing in this movie as well. So it's crazy, it's zany. I personally wouldn't call it a good movie, but I think it would be a great, fun film to watch with a bunch of friends. I don't know if you're really going to be mystery science theatering it, making fun of it, because it's not a bad movie. It's not badly made. It's well made. It's just I'm a little hesitant to compare it to The Room. It's intentional. Everything in this movie is intentional. So it's not like they accidentally made one of the worst films of all time and it's hilarious to just watch it and laugh along with it. But yeah, I guess maybe in a sense it is similar to The Room in that it's more of a ride than a story that you invest yourself in and care what happens. Buckaroo is just such a Gary Stu that there's never any concern whatsoever as to what might happen to him. He doesn't grow, he encounters challenges, but he's a Buckaroo Banzai. There's nothing he can't do. But in terms of just being a great cult classic film with lots of funny, quotable lines, I'd say check it out, but also be aware that that time spent watching it might not be the best part of the Buckaroo Banzai experience. I think the best part of that experience comes afterward, the day after, the week after, where you just can't get this crazy, zany, wacky movie out of your mind. And what's really weird is that I've heard so much about Buckaroo Banzai over the past 3 decades. So many people seem to know of this movie, but there's very little Buckaroo Banzai media out there. They never made the sequel, even though the teaser comes up at the end of the movie. Watch out for Buckaroo Banzai against the World Crime League. That was put in as a joke too. They didn't really have a plan for a sequel. A couple comics here and there. There was a comic adaptation back in the day. A couple newer ones came out a decade or so ago. There was a computer game for Commodore, all those different systems in '85, I think. So it's just strange to me that when I actually did some digging and research on Buckaroo Banzai, I was expecting to find this big underground plethora of more Buckaroo Banzai stuff, because there are more Escape from New York comics out there that continue the story or prequel it. Big Trouble in Little China continued on in a comic book series, but Buckaroo Banzai